What's going on, Saints fans? Welcome into today's edition of Saints Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Trace Girouard, and for today's video, we're going to be breaking down the 2023 New Orleans Saints practice squad. Only 11 players have signed thus far, so you still have about 5 spots available because you do have a 16 members of the practice squad, 53 guys on the roster, 69 very nice total players on the roster for the New Orleans Saints. So without further ado, before we get into today's show, the roster's damn near set, guys. We're about ready for football. So if you're ready for week 1 against those scumbags, the Tennessee Titans, who put coffee in their mayo, eat bananas with the peel on. Come on. It's disgusting. It's unbelievable. For those Raiders fans out there, they definitely eat corn the long way. Like this video, hit the thumbs up icon, and let's go Saints. All right, so I'm going to go kind of offense and then defense, position by position. So here we go. You got your 2 wide receivers, Shaq Davis, Jontray Kirkland. No surprises with those two. They were both very impressive in the preseason. Shaq Davis, a guy out of South Carolina State, is a stud. Really excited to have him back on the practice squad. Running back Jordan Mims. He also signed with the practice squad, and a familiar face in Tony Jones Jr. He has signed with the Saints practice squad as well. He was with the Saints, then went to Denver, and is now back with the Saints. So, he's a journeyman of 2 teams, really. He loves Sean Payton and loves the Saints, I guess. But for the practice squad, you can keep it moving with Anthony Johnson, the cornerback, Ty Summers, the linebacker. You have Anfernee Orji, a UDFA guy signing out of Vanderbilt, and linebacker Jaylon Smith. I got a lot of thoughts to get in on him, but I'm very pumped to have him back. I think that he should definitely see some real snaps, and I think that he won't spend too much time on the practice squad. To round it out, you got Kyle Phillips, defensive tackle Jack Heflin, and safety Johnathan Abram. I think that all 11 of those members of this what could be 16 total player practice squad, I think 11 of those guys are pretty damn solid. I'd like to see some of these other guys return. Lucas Krull, we'll get to him later, but you got to do what you got to do. So guys, sound off. Who is your favorite player on the practice squad? For me, it's got to be Shaq Davis. I'm so pumped to have him back. Either Shaq Davis or Jaylon Smith. Like I said, I don't think Jaylon Smith's going to spend too much time on the practice squad. I think he's going to find himself on the active roster sooner rather than later. But Saints fans, sound off in the comments section who's your favorite player on the practice squad so far. And while you're down there, when you scroll down, you'll see a nice little red button. And I really encourage you to just click it. Just do one of those. Just click it. As we say here at Chat Sports, tickle that sub button, because you're going to get daily videos around the New Orleans Saints. You got news, rumors, updates, injury stuff, trade buzz, free agency things, interactive content by Saints fans for Saints fans. You also get live game day coverage. And I just talked to the bosses today. We're trying to get it set up to do our weekly live shows once again on Wednesdays. So if you subscribe, we get enough subs there. Hey, the bosses will let us make it happen. And the best part about it is 100% free. You never have to pay a dime. We never expect any of that for you. There is no sort of paywall. All you got to do is just subscribe and turn on your notifications for all of your Saints videos. All right, so I want to round out today's video talking about just the players on the practice squad and kind of just giving some takes, giving my thoughts on them. And I will say this, I did expect Shaq Davis to be back on the practice squad. The kid is a stud out of South Carolina State, and his stats while he was there, during the preseason, 7 receptions, 101 yards, 14.4 yards per catch, and he did have 0 touchdowns. But at 6'5", 215 pounds at South Carolina State, Davis was also able to put up 132 receptions, 2,719 yards, 20.6 yards per catch, and 29 touchdowns, and that was done in 36 games. So shout out to Shaq Davis. Shout out to the South Carolina State, standout, and shout out to the Saints for bringing him back. But let's get over to Jaylon Smith, because like I said earlier, I think he could find himself on the the active roster very, very soon. And so interesting enough, he did start last year on the New York Giants practice squad, but then by the end of the season, he ended up leading them in linebacker snaps, which I think is pretty interesting. And when you look at the production 88 tackles, 1 sack, 3 tackles for loss, 2 quarterback hits. Obviously, there's no, PBUs, there's no coverage stats there, but we saw it in the Saints preseason game. Jaylon Smith was able to move sideline to sideline very quick. He is a lot more reliable in coverage than a player like Zach Bond. So I think Jaylon Smith is a player to keep your eyes on. I think that he's going to contribute a lot to the Saints defense. And I also bet that he's going to be a fun addition to the team. And if you want to bet on the New Orleans Saints, if you want to bet on LSU football, we're about to have that going. If you want to bet on the MLB, anything, you can use our sportsbook partner, our proud sportsbook partner, BetUS. Go to chatsports.com/bet, use promo code CHAT125, and you will get an 125% deposit bonus. Now, I know I'm wearing an Arkansas shirt, and I know that means I'm probably not too good at math, but you put in $100, that means you got 125 that they put in, so you have $225 of guacamole to lay down on any of your favorite teams or any of your favorite sports. Here are the Week 1 odds for the Saints versus the Titans. Saints are favorites at -3, and the over-under is set at 37.5. So I think that you guys should definitely go and lay down some money on this. I'm definitely going to lay down some cheddar. Do it at chatsports.com/bet, promo code CHAT125. All right, so let's talk about Johnathan Abram because he is another player that I like having back on the active roster because, as we know, the safety room is very crowded. You have players like Jordan Howden, Marcus May, Tyrann Mathieu, but you do have to worry about a potential suspension for Marcus May because of his DUI case, and he could be suspended for that, So if you need the depth, if you need the player, Johnathan Abram is a great player to have. You never really panned out too much with the Raiders or with the 3 teams he played last year, but it's a good depth piece. So Jontray Kirkland, hear me out here. I think he was a sneaky kick return guy. Like in special teams, he was pretty solid. He was making some noise, and I honestly thought there for a minute, we didn't see the Saints saying anything about, oh, no, Jontray Kirkland. Like it took a while for them to announce that he didn't, make it to the final roster. So I thought for a while that Jontray Kirkland was going to be a member of the final 53, but he is going to be a good emergency wide receiver. He's going to be a good depth piece if any of these players in the wide receiver room do get hurt. I think that it's, a good guy to have around just in the room and in the locker room. And in terms of players who left on the move, only one player claimed off the waivers, and it was offensive tackle Calvin Throckmorton over at those scumbags at the Carolina Panthers. They want to be the Saints so damn bad. Same with the Falcons. They want to be the Saints so damn bad. Stop taking our players. Stop taking our coaches. You can have the sloppy seconds, I guess, but don't complain about it when you're not winning. And then another one, Lucas Krull, is now number 7, number 8 player to now go be with Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos. I know a handful of them, like little Jordan Humphries, Marquez Callaway, didn't make the roster, but Lucas Krull is headed over to the practice squad for the Denver Broncos and Sean Payton. They want to be the Saints so bad. Sean Payton wishes he was in New Orleans, clearly. That's why he's taking all of the players. That's why this is happening. But, it be like that. Sean Payton, if you wanted to be the Saints, you shouldn't have left. I'm just going to say that. But, guys, we are at the end of today's video, so I am going to ask for a gold call if you made it this far in today's video. I need you, Who Dat Nation, to type "Stay Golden" in the comment section. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. And y'all stay golden. We'll catch you next time.